Can you guess how many colored pencils I used to draw this rainbow cake? What if I told you I only use these 3 colors, plus white and black? So no green, no red, no orange, not even purple. All the colors you see here stayed in the box. This is the power of mixing your primaries to get your secondaries and tertiaries. Plus, when you add white and black, you get all the tints and shades that you need to create any kind of art. I used the CMY color wheel for this drawing, which is what you see here. Now, if you've never heard of CMY, you might be a bit confused because you probably learned in grade school that the primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. But have you ever noticed that printers don't use red, yellow, and blue ink? Instead, they use cyan, magenta, and yellow. And why is that? Well, it's because cyan, magenta, and yellow are the most accurate colors to use to create all the other colors when you include white and black. I'll explain this more in a minute, but first, I want to get back to this cake drawing and show you exactly how I drew it from the beginning using only the CMY colors, plus white and black. I'm drawing on Strathmore Artigan paper, which I've been using for over 25 years. It has such a great texture for drawing on with colored pencils. For my reference image, I licensed this beautiful, colorful cake photo from Envato. I traced it in Procreate to create the line art, and then used a graphite transfer technique to transfer the line art onto my paper. So for this drawing, I'm using Prismacolor Premier colored pencils. I've been using this brand since freshman year of high school in 1993, and to this day, it's still my favorite brand of colored pencil. The 3 colors I chose to represent the CMY primaries are lemon yellow, processed red, and true blue. These 3 colored pencils I felt were the closest match to the CMY colors on this color wheel that I have. Now, these 3 colored pencils aren't meant to officially replicate or represent the CMY colors. And what I mean by that is that Prismacolor didn't design these 3 colors to represent CMY in any official capacity, not like some art brands do when they release a specific CMY set, like these Holbein paints that are marketed as being CMY. So these are just the 3 colors that I chose to represent CMY after vetting all the colors I have in my Prismacolor pencil set. But you could choose to use different colors, depending on what you have in your set. So throughout this video, whenever I refer to these colors, I want to keep it simple. So I'm not going to use their official Prismacolor names. I'm just going to call them cyan, magenta, or yellow. So the secret to making all the colors that you need for this drawing is to layer the colors. You can see that here when I lay down my magenta on these candles, and then go over it with yellow and it turns them orange. Then, to make them more like red, I add another layer of magenta. When you layer colored pencils like this, the colors blend together to create new colors. And this is actually why you don't need a million colors in your colored pencil set. I know it's tempting to want the big sets. We always want to collect all the colors. But this video is proof that you don't need a ton of colors to make an artwork, even a realistic artwork like this one. If you start with just the primaries, you can layer and blend all you want to create a whole surprising range of colors. But this is obviously very time-consuming to make art this way, so you could certainly argue that it's not very practical to make every single work of art using just the primaries plus white and black. It would save a lot of time to simply use a red colored pencil, or a green colored pencil, or whatever color you need. So what is even the point of this whole exercise? Well, when you make art using just the primaries, it is such an awesome learning experience when you see the full spectrum of the rainbow appear right under your fingertips. So I really encourage you to try this at least once, especially if you're a beginner, because you'll learn so much about how colors mix and blend and combine to make other colors. And even if you've been making art for years, I still think you can benefit from doing this challenge too, especially if you've never done it before. It's just that eye-opening. Okay, so earlier in this video, I mentioned CMY versus RYB, and that is such an interesting topic and debate about which color wheel is correct and which is best to use. And if you've never heard of this debate, if you've never heard of CMY, then this will be really important for you to hear. Basically, the RYB color wheel, the one that most of us grew up with, is the more traditional color wheel, with red, yellow, and blue as the primaries. RYB has been used for centuries by artists to mix colors and plan their palettes and select color harmonies. And it worked for the most part. I mean, tons and tons of beautiful art was made for centuries using the RYB color model. But RYB was limited by the pigments that were available at that time. So it wasn't perfect in terms of color mixing because some colors would just turn out muddy or dull when you tried to mix them. But overall, RYB was just kind of good enough. But then, thanks to modern chemistry in the last century, new pigments were invented that completely changed everything. And this is not an exaggeration. Artists quickly discovered that the new pigments for cyan, magenta, and yellow created much better mixes than red, yellow, and blue. CMY can make brighter, cleaner mixes without that muddiness or dullness that you can get when mixing RYB. And CMY can mix a much wider range of colors than RYB. So with that realization, around that time is when color scientists and color theorists really embraced CMY wholeheartedly as the more true, accurate color model. And we already mentioned printers. It was around that same time that the printing industry adopted CMY as the standard way to mix colors for full color printing. And that really solidified CMY from a technical standpoint. So in a nutshell, that's the brief history of RYB versus CMY. And I think the reason people call it a debate about which color wheel is correct is because a lot of people, maybe most people, have never even heard of CMY. We grew up being taught that RYB were the primary colors, and most of us never thought about it ever again, let alone questioned it. So it is really eye-opening when you learn that this newer color model even exists with a totally different set of primaries. So anyway, that's why I chose to use cyan, magenta, and yellow colored pencils to draw all the colors I need for this rainbow cake, instead of using the traditional red, yellow, and blue. I talk a lot more about CMY and RYB in my video series, Color Theory Made Fun. It's available on my website, and it's a fun deep dive that's designed to demystify color, because I know that working with color can often be a huge source of anxiety for most people as you stress about which colors to use or which colors might look good together. So I designed this series of bite-sized video lessons to really make color theory accessible to anyone. I start right at the beginning with all the basics, so it's totally beginner-friendly. And honestly, once you understand more about colors and how colors work, then it does become really, really fun and fulfilling to work with colors. And it saves you time because you're no longer guessing. My color theory video series also comes with this bonus workbook I made that's filled with fun exercises to really help reinforce the concepts. So I'll link to this below. And I've recently just added this cake drawing as a bonus video to my color theory course, along with a line art, so you can follow along and color in this cake yourself using only CMY plus white and black. It's not a narrated tutorial, but since I'm only using 5 colored pencils, you can easily see which one I'm using where and when, and it's a great way to stretch your skills and a fun way to challenge yourself and see for yourself what CMY can do. Because when you see the full spectrum of the rainbow appear when you only use 3 colors, it really is an awesome learning experience. And whether you do it with me or on your own, I really encourage you to try it at least once, even if you're just filling in a simple color wheel, or you could make a rainbow gradient in your sketchbook. So when I got to this stage in the drawing, I very nearly called it done. I kind of like how it looked without a shadow underneath, without a table or anything, just kind of floating there. But I'd already sketched the confetti at the bottom, so I just went ahead and finished drawing it all in because I figured, why not? Might as well see what it looks like. And I had a lot of trouble getting the shadow on the right to look right, especially with how the shadow falls on top of this yellow piece of confetti. This is the one time in this whole drawing when I really felt stymied by only using 3 colors plus white and black. If I had more colors to pull from, I think I could have done a better job of it, but that's okay. I fiddled a lot with it and kept coming back to it, but then you hit a point where you really just have to move on. I mean, good is good enough, right? But as I drew in more of the tabletop, I grew to like it, because the tabletop helps anchor the cake in space, and the white table provides a contrast against the tinted background, and the colors of the confetti echo the colors of the candles and the cake. So what do you think? Do you like this drawing better with a cake just floating there? Or do you prefer it with the tabletop? Let me know in the comments. But we are not done quite yet. The thing about using colored pencils on tinted paper is that the colors are usually not as bright or saturated as you'd get if you were drawing on white paper. So these candle flames can actually be a bit brighter. So I'm going to use a white Posca paint pen and just carefully paint on top of the flames. And you do have to be so careful if you do this, because the paint could totally splatter or spread or blob out of the pen. So be forewarned that if you do this, you'll want to practice first, so you get used to what it feels like to use a paint marker on top of the colored pencil on paper. And I'm also using a Q-tip to try to gently blend out some of the white paint on the candle flames. And the reason I'm doing this is to soften the edges so there's not such a harsh transition between the white and yellow parts of the flame. Then I add a few white highlights to the really bright parts of the icing here on top to create a stronger sense of contrast. And then we're done! In total, this artwork took around 6 hours to draw from start to finish, using only the 3 primary colors and white and black. It really is amazing to see all the colors you can make from just these 5 colored pencils. So let me know below if you're going to try this, or if you prefer to stick to using all the colors at your disposal. Let me know that too. And if you want to see me create another really colorful drawing using colored pencils, check out this video, where I draw this vivid rainbow rose and share with you all my best tips for creating such vibrant realism with colored pencils. See you there!